What the hell is up, you fucking cunts? It's episode 4, which is obviously the 5th episode of Resident Bummer, and this is the end of our first month of content, you guys. I forgot to mention the episode count in last week's show, so I figured I'd have to come back in full force to remind you saucy motherfuckers that I'm still keeping count. And you probably already can tell from my sultry voice, but it's Fulcrum, once again, hosting this glorious scab of a podcast for nobody, once again. And moving right along, this week was huge. I'm just going to say it right now. It's definitely the biggest one so far, at least in terms of content that I personally find most interesting or hilarious, obviously. Anyways, I can hear you guys hollering at me already. Start the G-Dang show, Fulcrum. Come on, baby. Hit us with that stuff we love. So, here we fucking go. First entry is coming in hot from February 14th. Set for day 1. At 12:10 a.m., I feel much more relaxed and less exhausted after the recording of episode 3. Yippee! Actually, I have that written in my entry, just a little yippee with one exclamation mark. Next up at 1:25, I watch another 6 episodes of Atlanta after choosing to not watch a movie. Atlanta's been pretty good, so I convinced myself to keep watching it. And they're like 30-minute episodes, so bite-sized. I love it. I love it. Go to sleep, and then at 9:45 a.m., I wake up and I can't fall back asleep. I didn't wake up at 9:45. I just entered this particular entry at 9:45, it looks like. So it looks like I showered and shaved and applied some light edits to episode 4 of Resident Bummer. And then an 11 a.m. entry here. I watch another episode of Atlanta before I go to work. And I realize that guy that I met at the mall, I think I mentioned him in the last episode. Just some random guy came up to me and started talking to me while I was listening to music at the mall. Pretty sure he's pushing a pyramid scheme on me. And I also just have been blowing him off with really ridiculous texts. I might have to get into some of that during this episode, but I don't know if I actually have much of that covered in my journal. We'll have to find out. I can't remember too much of what I entered. Next up at 12:45 p.m., I clock into work and realize the kitchen has been absolutely and totally rearranged. There's a list of to-dos from Sun. I believe I mentioned Sun in the last episode. Really big wig from the main store that loves to boss people around. It's her job, though, so you can't really blame her for doing it. 4:25, I go on break, and I plan my schedule for the rest of the night. This is Valentine's Day, after all, February 14th. So, I've got a long list of things that Fulcrum has to do before he goes to bed. Not necessarily before midnight, mind you, just before he goes to bed. Looks like I have plans to buy some booze, and then I'm going to go to the mall, obviously, after, and then upload episode 3 of Resident Bummer. Then I plan to read a chapter of my book, and I also plan to get a movie out of the way on February 14th. 6:25, I receive a phone call from Jack. Oh my gosh. This is I think this might actually be the first phone call me and Jack have ever had, which is pretty cool. I absolutely loved it, I'm not going to lie. I was a bit nervous because we hadn't been on like an audio call in so long. I think it's coming up. It was about to be a year. We hadn't like been on an audio call with one another. We would used to do like Discord calls and Xbox parties all the time, but yeah, this was the first time we got voice to voice and just hashed it out, and it was excellent, you guys. I hope I didn't appear nervous or retarded to him. Sorry. Oh my God, was that my first retarded? Yeah, I do like to use the word retarded, so I'll say that. I guess since I dropped it now, I can just start dropping it left and right. You retards. And I accidentally, at the end of the phone call, you guys, I think I made a point to, maybe in like episode 1 of Resident Bummer or episode 2, I was like, oh man, I really have to choose my words carefully because they can have lasting impacts. Even small little choices in diction will have butterfly effects that you really won't be able to decipher until they've taken place, and you can't change it. It really sucks. But at the end of the phone call, I accidentally say that I bring up the fact that, I'm at work and my break's actually about to end. Or I think maybe I was a little bit overtime on my break, and I was like, I got to get back to work. I'm about 5 minutes over on my break. And I told him, I'm clocking off in about an hour. If you want to give me a call then, feel free to. And then I also, at the end there, I added, you don't have to, though. Don't feel like you have to call. I feel like I shouldn't have added that. I don't know why. I tend to overthink little things like that, and I just feel like maybe I could have said that, and then immediately after been like, or maybe you don't have to feel like you don't have to call. Now you don't know what the hell to feel, huh? Yeah. Just throw the ball into his court. Make him know that I'm down for whatever, man. But anyways, enough about that little tangent. 7:25, I clock out of work. I was about to say clock out of the mall again. I definitely did that, I think, in last episode or episode 2, but I'm going to try and not do that anymore. Change at the mall, and I start listening to Porcupine Tree. I also have in here, I'm just sitting alone on Valentine's Day like a miserable little prick. So Fulcrum, relatable, man. 9 p.m. I get home, and my sister, her husband, and my nephew, and my parents are all waiting in the kitchen. So you know what? I was only alone because I was choosing to be. How about them apples? That's so touching. At 9:45, I get a Discord message from someone we are going to call Tex. T-E-X, Tex. And they ask me if I want to play some legendary Halo Reach. And I oblige while my export on Resident Bummer episode 3 starts. Tex is a bit of a weird character, so I'll just kind of briefly cover her arc. I don't even know if it's a her. We've only ever talked like over text, and I'm definitely not going to assume that it's a girl. I mean, are you kidding me? It's the oldest story in the book. You get catfished by some 400-pound freak that's just like scratching his beard every time he talks to you because he gets too horny to contain his muscle movements or something. But this I'm just gonna say she and her, even though I really have no idea. I think maybe it was about a year ago I was going for some achievements in Halo MCC, and I put some looking for group posts up, and I got a response from someone called, I think the gamer tag that she was using at the time was like Lynn or something like that. Changes gamer tags a lot. Different gamer tag every like other month, pretty much. Every other week, really, if we're being honest. But she helped me get, I believe, the Halo Reach Invasion achievement in the MCC list of achievements. And after that, we kept in contact, and she helped me get some of the legendary All Skulls On achievements. I believe maybe some of the speedrunning achievements. And I helped her get some of the achievements she needed on her gamer card, which she makes a new account, like, I think, like, it seems like every other month, like I mentioned. So she's always just grabbing all of the fucking achievements in MCC over and over again like an insane person. But yeah, there was a period where she just like dropped off the face of the planet. I've sent one message where I was like, hey, it doesn't look like we're friends on Xbox anymore. Did you change your gamer tag again? And I received no response for like 6 months. And then I think maybe in November of last year or something like that, they hit me back up, and I was like, okay, if you want to give me some more achievements, that's fine, but I'm probably not going to be helping you with many of your achievements, or at least I kept that to myself, but that's what I was thinking. But anyways, I start playing Legendary Halo Reach on February 14th with Tex, this weird person that I met a while ago, and at 11:40 p.m., the next entry, I write that I need to get some space from Tex and work on finishing my upload. After I finish the upload, I start watching Love, Simon. Love, Simon is an interesting little side tangent here. It is actually the only movie I have ever asked a girl out to. I believe the first time was back in, was it 10th grade, 11th grade, something like that, but it was the only time I've asked a girl out, actually, up until this point. And the movie I asked her to go see was Love, Simon, which, interestingly enough, is a story about a gay high schooler that is coming out of the closet, and it's a little comedy focused, so there's some jokes in it, but there's some real moments too. And I liked it. We'll get into that a little bit later. 12 a.m., I realized that I'm a huge fucking idiot, and for some reason I'm thinking that backgammon is a game that I need to start playing. I pick up my phone at midnight on the dot when I have this thought, and for some reason I just think it's like some sort of sign, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna download backgammon right now, and I'm gonna play it the next time I'm out at the mall listening to music. And I do play it while I'm out at the mall listening to music sometimes, which is weird. Looks like at 12:02 a.m., 2 minutes after the last entry, I relate to a scene in Love, Simon where a phone gets taken away from a kid while in class, or I think maybe they're in the hallway, the teacher and the student are in the hallway and the teacher takes it. But I relate to it because I remember being in Spanish class in, I think, 8th or 9th grade? 9th grade Spanish class with, I can't remember the teacher's name, but I was texting my dad to let him know that I had to stay later after school because the very same Spanish teacher got me in trouble for some reason, or I didn't get a good enough grade and I had to stay after and study extra. But she saw me texting my dad in the middle of class, and she was like, oh, you're on your phone? I'm going to take that for the rest of the class. Can't be on your phone. And I tried to say, oh, well, I was texting my dad because you told me I had to stay after school today, so I was letting him know that he has to come pick me up. She was not having it, man. She took my phone and fucking binned it. It's so annoying. 12:10 a.m., I invent a plan to blow... I guess I invented a fake name for this person, the weird dude at the mall. I'm going to blow Shannon. I gave him a girl's name, which is cool. I'm going to blow him off every time with just fake, nonsensical stories and such. Jack is actually helping me craft some stories, which is pretty neat. In Love, Simon, some of the teachers talk about sex a lot in front of the students, which is a little weird, but it's also pretty funny. I mean, the jokes are kind of written in to make it feel a little more natural, but for a second there, I was like, these teachers are talking about sex a little bit much in front of the students. That's okay, I guess, if it's for comedy's sake. Oh yeah, and there's a scene in Love, Simon where there's two guys and they're like in front of their lockers and they're both named Tyler, and I just thought it was like really funny where one of them looks at the other and is like, oh, sup Tyler, sup, have a good one Tyler, and they're just saying each other's names a bunch. 1:35 a.m. Love, Simon, I gave a 7.7 out of 10, and I decide that I'm going to pause my search through Porcupine Tree in favor of starting up Rush at the mall. I don't know if you've ever heard of Rush, but they're a musical group with quite an extensive history of music. That is the final entry for February 14th, Valentine's Day. Moving on to set for day 2, which is Saturday, February 15th. I wake up from a very unsettling dream about Halloween at Grandma's house. I might actually keep that dream in the bank and tell that one on a future podcast, because this is going a little bit long here. I can tell this episode's going to go long if I don't start beating through some of these points. 11 a.m., I finished 2 chapters of Contact Harvest, my Halo book, and I love the kind of last line of defense theme or plot that they're building up here. There's a group of characters who are stuck on a planet, and they have to defend it, and the rest of the military is going to show up in like 3 months. So it's kind of, and this group of people are kind of just like volunteers, not really soldiers, but just, the everyday people of the planet who stepped up to say, I'm going to defend my home, even though I don't have much of a background in fighting. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. It's not a very unique plot point or a very unique theme, but it's good stuff, right? Sort of it's us and then it's over. I like that stuff. 12:45 p.m. I start up Rush while I'm still at home, a rare occurrence. I usually don't like starting up artists because I'm doing something else while I'm at home. But I just kind of sit there and listen to some Rush. And I realize, of course, I get to the Fly By Night album, and it, of course, released on February 15th, which is a strange little coincidence there. I started it on the day that they released it. At 1 p.m., Mom texts me a picture of cinnamon rolls, and I gotta grab one, go downstairs, and get something to drink too, because I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty in more ways than one, man. And then after writing that little joke in my journal, I realized that I should probably expound on, or at least lightly expound on, some past experiences with, how do I bring this up? Girls, bro. Talking about my experiences with girls. I've kind of painted myself as some weird, socially awkward freak that doesn't know how to interact with them. But I'm not going to lie. I mean, at my previous 2 jobs, there was a bunch of female coworkers that, I just had to learn to interact with, or else it was going to be a bit of a problem for every party involved. And so, I'm not a weirdo when I'm talking to girls. I feel like I can hold my own and just kind of be like a normal guy. Definitely my last job was more conducive to that side of life than, either of my other jobs. But yeah, I've I don't even know how to bring this up, but there was at my previous job, there was I guess I'm going to tell this story right now. There was a coworker. I can't come up with a name for her right now, so I'm just going to refer to her as a coworker. She gave me some substances for free sometimes. Nothing serious, guys. Just a little bit of weed. Oh, God. Sorry, Mom and Dad, if you ever find this, but, they already know. We've been through that whole rigmarole. What did I say? Rigmarole. Thank you. There was this girl at my previous job. Her name was something that I'm not going to bring up right now. She gave me some substances, weed, and there was just, I don't know how the subject came up, but we were talking, and I was like, "What? Would you suck my dick?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I think you're pretty attractive. I would definitely suck you off." This feels like a weird cope story, but I promise this actually happened. And so I think the next day, she invited me over, and I knocked on her door, and we sat down on the couch, and I didn't have the confidence to whip it out. So we sat there for like another 10 or 15 minutes. She realized nothing was going to happen, and she was like, all right, well, I'm just going to invite another one of my friends over because this is getting weird. And the friend that she invited over, after I left, I spent like 1 or 2 hours there with her friend. And after I left, she let me know that her friend was interested in me. And that was like one of the first times a girl had let me know that either they were interested in me or someone perpendicular to them was interested in me. Or adjacent, not perpendicular. Whatever. I feel like I'm just going to end that story there because this is definitely going too long for this episode. A little bit of a weird side story. And I just need to let you guys know I've been in it, bro. I've been in the thick of it. Don't even worry. Fulcrum is inexperienced, but let me try that again. Fulcrum is inexperienced, but experienced, if that makes any sense. Next entry here, after that ridiculous tangent, 3:45 p.m., I finish Caress of Steel by Rush, and I watch The Notebook. First time I've ever seen The Notebook. It was an 8.9 out of 10. Really good movie. I like that movie. 5:40 p.m., I watch another episode of Atlanta with the school Jesus, I'm falling apart, man. I'm going to try that one again. I watch another episode of Atlanta with the school kid suicide. That was a pretty good episode. I liked that one. Bit of a real one. Less comedy focused, more feeling focused, I guess. And then I play some BioShock until I make myself some chicken nuggets. 7:50 p.m., I watch an episode of Boardwalk Empire with the family while I eat chicken nuggets. After that, I am invited to play some Black Ops 6 while also trying to multitask and catch up in the Discord channel. It was an old group chat that Jack decided to revive, and it actually, we've been talking infrequently, but, it better than 3 years dead, right? I feel like 1 or 2 or sometimes there's like 10 or 15 messages a day in there, but it's inconsistent, but still pretty consistent every day at least. I think, what are their names? Michael and Desmond. I didn't write them down today, but Michael and Desmond, I'm learning. They're pissed at me because I'm trying to multitask, and they're like, hey, aren't you trying to play Call of Duty? What are you doing? You're sitting still in spawn every match, man. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but there's this group chat with all these people I haven't talked to in like 3 years. Just trying to catch up a little bit, doing a little bit of multitasking, but I did feel a little bad. At 11:20 p.m., I watch another episode of Atlanta while eating, wouldn't you believe it, even more chicken nuggets. I'm a fiend for some chicken nuggets, you guys. 4:20 a.m., I stayed up way too late, you guys, and I was actually watching and continuing, I should say, Age of Ultron to bring about the day of my birth before I go to bed way too late. Yeah, I did go to bed way too late on Saturday, February 15th, and that is the final entry for Saturday, February 15th, so we are moving on to Sunday, February 16th. It's my birthday, you guys. I wake up around 9 a.m. and I realize I have a Snapchat from Jack. And this is a little bit of a stupid tangent. I'm going to try and get through it as quick as possible. I fear that it's birthday wishes from Jack. And I'm afraid of this because I totally did not wish him a happy birthday, on his most recent birthday, because, Snapchat gives you somebody's birthday any day of the week, any week of the month, so I could have just checked it out like 5-6 months ago and been like, oh, Jack's birthday is in like a month. I'm going to wish him a happy birthday when that comes around, because I don't know if we've had each other added on Snapchat for a year yet. It might have been around a year we've had each other on Snapchat now, so I definitely had the resources. I just did not use them to my advantage. So for some reason, I got a little scared, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna feel like such a piece of shit when he wishes me a happy birthday, and I forgot to wish him a happy birthday. Yeah, tangent over. 3:50 p.m. I watch an episode of Atlanta, then head downstairs to open my birthday presents, you guys. I got a sick new jacket. It's a Carhartt jacket, pretty cool, bunch of pockets. I got a travel shirt with like a bunch of different symbols on it. I think there's like 40 or 50 different symbols for like, there's one with the bus, there's a little symbol of an umbrella, there's another symbol of like a car, just to like, I definitely want to travel throughout my life if I, get the proper assets to do so. I've already traveled quite a bit with my family just because they like going on cruises and finding some country, a foreign country to go and visit for, a weekend or a week. It doesn't happen very often though. It's like every other year, every 3 years we go on a big vacation, which is nice. I love that shit. I definitely took it for granted most of the time, so I'm gonna try and improve my experiences and be more in the moment on those vacations in the future. That shit is cool. Just visiting a new place and kind of soaking it all in. I got that travel shirt, which took me on that little tangent. Some Valentine's Day candy, which is always a must for my birthday. I mean, it just goes hand in hand. My birthday is so close to Valentine's Day anyways. It's like, why not? Just give me all that Valentine's Day candy. And it's right after Valentine's Day candy. Right after Valentine's Day candy, really? No, it's right after Valentine's Day. So all of the candy is on a discount. It's on a discount rack, baby. And I got an Fuck. What's going on with Fulcrum this episode, you guys? I can't talk. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm not going to either. Get a therapist if you need to talk to somebody about suicidal thoughts, depression, etc. Moving on, I got an AirPod case that stinks like dick. It doesn't actually stink, but it doesn't work. Or at least I didn't think it worked. I'm pretty sure I was just being stupid and didn't know how to assemble it. But at 5 p.m. we take our dogs for a ride in the car and return the AirPod case at the UPS store. We gave it like 10 minutes and we just fucking sent it back. We swing through Arby's for food on the way back home. And then at 6:50 p.m. play 3 games of Destiny 2 Crucible with a person we will be calling Daniel. And then after this, I run off to an anonymous place for my birthday dinner with my family, which is awesome. And actually, I was leaned away from the microphone there. Actually, at this point in the podcast, I'm going to be starting up a new section that I might do infrequently. Certainly not going to be a dedicated bit, but might happen every other episode, might happen in 20 episodes. I don't know. But we're going to be doing the first Foodery Fare event on Resident Bummer. If you don't know what fare means, it just means food. I think F-A-R-E, fare. Definition. You can go look it up if you don't believe me. But let me just repeat that. This is the first Foodery Fare event on Resident Bummer. This first one will be known as the Crisp Cast. The Crisp Cast. If you don't know, over in the UK, they refer to potato chips and corn chips as crisps. Crisps. So I will be opening up a bag of, well, it's already opened, so not opening it, but I will be rustling it around to get it opened up. And just going to be munching on some crisps as I read these next few journal entries. Not for too long, because that would definitely get more annoying than funny, but I'm not going to lie, I think it's funny when people just start smashing food into their face on some kind of audio product, like a podcast. But here we go. Here comes. These are Hal's New York kettle chips, sweet onion flavored, kettle cooked potato chips. That bag is so crumbly. The first chip is going in the mouth. Oh, that's tasty. like that. Okay, so, guys, this is a big journal entry. This is exactly where I wanted to start the crisp cast right here. So at 8:55 p.m., for the first time in 7 years, Fulcrum asks a lady out on a date, and she rejects me, and it's all cool, because she was very generous about the letdown. She was smiling, and she was very courteous, and it was the waitress that was serving us our food for my birthday dinner. She actually came out at the end, gave me a cookie and ice cream, and I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta ask this girl out on a date. She just gave me a giant fucking cookie. You should have seen the size of the cookie, too. It was massive. And I still haven't eaten the ice cream. It's still in my freezer, so I gotta eat that. And we're getting another crisp also. At 10:40 p.m., I watched another episode of Boardwalk Empire, and then watch a bit of SNL with my mom and dad for the 50th anniversary of SNL. I had no idea it was 50 years this year. That's pretty cool. Even if it's not 100% the best stuff anymore. I remember being a kid and really liking it. And my mom liked a few of the skits. Let's just say that. The next up, after I'm done watching SNL with my parents, I throw on Princess Bride for the first time. I've never watched it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Maybe a little bit overhyped. I gave it a 7.4 out of 10. But it was pretty good and funny, and I liked it. Oh, I don't want to delete the entry. I want to scroll up. That was the last entry for February 16th on Sunday, my birthday. Next up, we have, this would be Monday, February 17th at 9:30 a.m. I wake up around 8 a.m. and I look at my phone for, this is going to be the last crisp, by the way, just to, giving you a heads up. The bag is being shut down. We will not be eating any more crisp for the rest of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. 9:30 a.m., I wake up around 8 a.m. and I look at my phone for an hour until I decide to boot BioShock up and do some laundry. Oh, man. This is a bit of a weird entry. So I was scrolling through some memes on my phone, and there was just a video of two pretty attractive blonde women, and it was like pretty close up to both of their faces, and one of them was just taking the other's tongue and just sucking on it. She would just like put her entire tongue into her mouth and just like kind of like move her head in and out. And so it was like she was like moving her tongue in and out of her mouth and like sucking on it and I'm sorry that I wrote this in my journal, but I'm pretty sure it's a new kink. I don't know how I'm sure I've seen a video of something similar before, but there was something about this particular one. It was fascinating. And I swiped away before I could even get a boner because I was just like, this is too much power for one man to have. I feel like, all right, excuse the crass language here, but I feel like I could come in like 30 seconds if I was jerking off to a video of that. And I just did not want any of that. I'm trying to take it easy. It's been, I think, at this point, it's been like 16 days since I've blown a load. Oh, no. It's been 18 days. That's cool. Or not. I don't really care if you jerk off or don't. I'm just trying it out and seeing how different it is. I guess I think that tongue sucking is swell and neat as well. It's weird, but swell and neat. Moving on to the next entry, thank Christ, 2:15 p.m. Clock into work, and I grab some ice from the main store after being asked to go and grab it. And then Hugo, or Hurley, pushes the fuck out of Richard's buttons all goddamn day. don't know why, but he's just like intentionally trying to piss him off. There was a specific moment where Richard was like, hey, you gotta make sure that that wet floor sign is visible in all walkways. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to go out and edit that bit. I'm gonna remember 35 minutes. Gonna have to edit that. Hugo, or Hurley, is just being a right prick about this wet floor sign. Doesn't want to give it up. He's like, I'm not gonna move it. I'm not gonna move it. No. And he just starts getting Richard all kinds of angry. Next up at 7:10 p.m., I decide to skip the mall, head straight home, and apologize for the garage door and soda. I accidentally forgot to close the garage door before I left home, and it messes with our refrigerator out in our garage just because it's so cold out right now. And I also left a soda pop in the freezer inside the house. So, double fuck up there. Apologize to my father, who had to figure out that both of those things had happened. And then I also make some plans to continue Resident Evil 6 with Desmond, my buddy Desmond. 9:45 p.m. Jack asks for a weird cue, and I follow up with asking him what he will name his pet. He came back with, I think, 4 answers in total. I think they're all pretty solid. They're all pretty dang good. First one is Arcole. I was gonna try and spell it there, but I don't even need to. I fucked it up already, so I'm not going back. Arcole, Cicero, Orion, and Godashell. Godashell, I think is how it's pronounced. Godashell. All pretty cool names. All with some definite deep meanings, which is nice. He's got some stuff cooking up in that brain of his. Love to see it. 12:40 p.m. I watch another episode of Atlanta after I finish Resident Evil 6 with Desmond. Then I slink off to bed like a little bitch. Next up, we have, this was going to be, Tuesday, February 18th? Yep. 9:55 a.m. I wake up, shit, shower, shave, then I brush my teeth, then I read a chapter of Contact Harvest. 10:40 a.m. I cement myself as a beanie guy by adding beanies to my gift list while watching Atlanta. I have a little list of things that I think would make a neat gift for someone to get me, so I can just catalog what I think would be nice, and then text them off whenever it's near my birthday or Christmas, so people have an idea of what I might want. Now I want some beanies. That's pretty cool. I just started being a beanie guy after got some work beanies, and I was like, these are pretty cool. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out. I mean, it's not like I haven't worn a beanie before. Fucking weird. 11:30 a.m. Looks like, whoa, that's really weird. I screwed up the naming order here. 11:30 a.m. James calls me before I get changed for work, and I don't answer him. He texts and says, "Call me when you get this text message." Fuck, dude. I'm not a huge fan of James. So the fact that I'm receiving this is not very thrilling to me. 1:15 p.m. Hugo, or Hurley, continues to bug the fuck out of Richard until Richard takes off. I don't know why, but he just keeps fucking with him every goddamn time. At 7 p.m., it looks like I decide to skip the mall after I clock out. I am very cold and tired. Don't judge me, you guys. I get home, and I actually end up finishing Bioshock 1. Very good game. I would give it an 8.6 out of 10. And then I start up Avowed. I think this must have been while I was playing, but at 10:50 p.m., I talk a bit with Jack about his friend's birthday dinner that he attended, and then I eat some nuggets and watch an absolute slammer of an Atlanta episode, Season 3, Episode 9, I believe titled Poor Wigga, Rich Wigga. Or it might be Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga. But it's, man, that's a good episode. It's also one-off, too. So it's totally like side characters, side plot, nothing to do with the main plot. Really awesome. 12:30 a.m. I spent way too long making my avowed character. And then I started actually playing the game after I watch an episode of Boardwalk Empire with Dad. That's pretty cool. 2:55 a.m. I play like 15 minutes of avowed, of actual gameplay. There's like an hour of me creating my character and then 15 minutes of me running around, swinging a mace and shooting some arrows. And then I get sidetracked for like an hour or two, just compiling different names for dogs. I was inspired by my... just hit my table there. Sure, that popped up on the audio. Just compiling different names for dogs. And I already have, or I should say, I already had a fair few lined up. But Jack definitely inspired me. He had some great hits. And I just had to, I feel like, up my culture, bro. I feel like I wasn't cultured enough. Looks like that's the end of that day. Moving on, we're going to Wednesday, February 19th. 10:10, I wake up, shower, and brush my teeth. I need to get my hair cut as well. I don't work today, so plan on getting my hair cut. 11:15 p.m., I lie to the hairdresser and let her know that I'm supposed to babysit my nephew today, even though that's not happening. I just wanted to seem cool. I didn't want to tell her I'm going to go home and play video games or something. I go home and I take another shower just to get all the excess hair out of my head. Not out of my head, but out of my intact hair. There you go. And after that, looks like I play Avowed. Oh, sorry, this entry is at 2:45 p.m. I play Avowed for a while and then change for the mall. There's a guy in the wheelchair. After I sit down out at the mall, there's a guy in the wheelchair who comes up, asks me for help getting up a wheelchair accessible ramp. I'm sure he could have probably pushed himself up it, but he might have just wanted to not exert himself, and I was happy to oblige, of course. He told me he was looking for a football with some kind of a design on it. I couldn't quite hear what design he was talking about, but seemed cool. So, and then I think as he was leaving, he came up and thanked me for helping him out, which was neat. Always those little moments, man, give you a warm feeling in your heart. 3:15 p.m. Looks like, oh man, one of the hawkers that stopped me in like episode 1 tries but fails to bully me into their little stupid skincare presentation. I tell her I gotta go. I'm on a schedule. I gotta get the hell out of this mall. Sorry, not sorry. I'm taking off. And at 4:20 p.m., nice, I grab a Dr. Pepper when I get home to prepare for some solid Avowed gameplay. I'm liking it so far. Not the worst thing ever, but I'm also not very far in, so it could go up or down, I feel like. At 8:25 p.m., I get another call from Jack, and I'm absolutely thrilled to hit the pause button on my controller. Not because it's bad. Yet again, I'm just going to remind you, it could go either way. I think at this point I'm not really married to it, and I don't really hate it. So, after the call, I decided to make some chicken and dumplings. Sorry, 8:55 p.m. I make some chicken and dumplings. Watch an episode of Atlanta. And then I continue my Avowed playthrough. At 11:20 p.m., I play Avowed until Desmond reaches out and asks to play some Resident Evil 6. I'm very down, and I text, what was his name? I didn't put his fake name right here. It's the guy from the mall, the weird guy. Oh, Shannon. I gave him a woman's name, that's right. The guy from the mall, Shannon. I text him some straight up horse shit. I could get into that, but I'm not really going to. This episode's actually seeming to be a perfect length. I like this. Yeah, I think I texted him some bullshit before me and Desmond finish Chris's campaign. So after this, me and Desmond, I believe, are exactly halfway through the Resident Evil 6 by this point. There's a little question mark for my timestamp here. I watched some dude called Any Austin on YouTube as I fall asleep. I just throw him on in the background as I close my eyes and get tired. I do remember I saw one of his videos, I think, it might have been a couple weeks ago at this point, maybe a month, but I watched it, and I don't know why I didn't go back to his channel. He actually makes some pretty, they're definitely funny, but they're also not the most scientifically in-depth or, well-rounded in a data sense. He does some light research and light data pulling, but nothing crazy in depth, which honestly I like. I think it helps keep it a little bit, helps to keep it a little bit surface level for a dumb piece of shit like me, But yeah, fall asleep to some Any Austin on YouTube, and I wake up on Thursday, February 20th, to a text asking me if I'm okay coming into work early. I'm fine with it, so I clock in about an hour early, and I take off an hour early as well. 4:25 p.m., take my break, and of course Benjamin is there like clockwork to interrupt me while I'm on my break, just talking to me about something I don't care about. Love it, Benjamin. 5:35, I clock out, change at the mall, and I start to listen to Rush's Hold Your Fire album. I think there might have been one song that I pulled off of it. I'm trying to remember, but I'm having trouble at this point, which is weird because it was literally earlier today. My memory is shit, apparently. Or at least short-term memory is shit. At 6:25 p.m., I get a whiff of some very, very loud children. Specifically children of color is what I've put into my journal here. I'm not trying to do it start like a race thing here, but they were black kids, and they smelled very distinctly of weed. It was like, no weed, no weed, no weed. And then as soon as they walked in front of me, there is so much fucking weed in the vicinity of this area right now. It was loud, and they knew what they smelled like. Like, come on. When I was in high school, I would always carry just like a little can of deodorant, just in case something like that happens, right? You never know where you're going to toke up. Hey-o. Color. Okay, so yeah, the loud children of color. Well, that just sounds a little bit racist. Loud children of color. I need to move on to the next point. 7:55 p.m. I get home. I see my sister and her nephew, and I am then invited to play a video game known as Ashen by Desmond. This video game absolutely ruined my total gamer score count. As an Xbox gamer, I typically like to keep my gamer score count ending in a 7 or a 2. It's just what it's been for like the past 3 or 4 years now, and I feel like it's difficult for me to consciously step away from those two values. Just whenever that very last value in that very last spot comes out to a 2 or a 7, something about it is very satisfying to me, man. But yeah, Ashen ruins my gamer score, and I'm pissed about that. And then after this, at 9:55 p.m., I race off to work. I grab a bag of chips that I accidentally left there earlier today when I clocked out. I text my manager and ask him why somebody other than the manager was asking me to come in early. I thought it was a little weird. After I got home, I was like, oh, it's kind of weird that he didn't ask me. I guess he didn't work today, so he wouldn't have been able to, but it's weird that someone other than the manager was able to approve that, and I wanted to make sure it was cool with him. Smelled a bit fishy. But after I text him, I race back home. I send a chip review in our little group chat on Discord because it was asked of me. I think Jack specifically asked me to give that bag of sweet onion chips a review. I gave it an 8.2. It's pretty good. They remind me of Funyuns. And I was eating them here on the Crispcast today. I watch some of Jack's memes that he sent me on Instagram, and I'm like, ooh, there was one video where some guy was talking about getting his carrot cracked, and I thought that was pretty funny, talking about getting some penile motion. He was just like, I'm gonna get my carrot cracked. I thought it was funny, man. I think I might start using that one. But yeah, after the carrot cracking, I have to get ready to record episode 4. And here I am, folks. Here I am. And hey, it's the beginning of the end of the episode. Oh man, which means it's almost time for Fulcrum to close up shop. Again, for the week. What a bitter pill to swallow, and I don't know why I'm clicking around on my mouse right now in the middle of this outro. Yeah, you would think it gets easier, but the outro is always the roughest, man. In summary, though, guys, what a week. We had some pyramid schemes being pushed over here. We had a few pathetic dreams over there, and an absolutely bootylicious haircut to tie it all together. Quick side note, bootylicious is in the Oxford Dictionary, just in case you wanted to know. Nice. I can only hope that the next episode will be half as entertaining as this one. Big stuff happening here. I spent way too long trying to get some little clever or funny joke here, so we're keeping it simple, you guys. Thanks for listening, and look for the next episode next week, if I decide to make it. And, well, since you waited so darn patiently, here's a cue for you. Am I really making a podcast, or am I just jerking off?